There's not a cloud up in the sky. Mighty Mo. I can't be late for my own show. Blasting off for Mars. Goodbye to the world that was, a new world that's still sublime, our world till the end of time.
Welcome to the show. This is Future Shock. I'm Edward St. Pé, and it's a show where we delve into AI and the technical advancements that are going on right now. I guess AI is the biggest thing that's happening. We bring on our developed Android device. We call him Alfred, and Alfred is basically an avatar connected to ChatGPT-4, which is basically. There he is in the green room. He's waiting to come on. Now, that Bluetooth speaker in his mouth, that was his original iteration had a Bluetooth speaker where he would, I would Bluetooth from the app, from ChatGPT into the text, synthesize it to voice to the Bluetooth in his mouth. But now, he's got an internal microphone and with a Bluetooth speaker inside, and a lavalier mic, a wireless mic that is connected back to the control room. So now when he speaks, he is basically speaking directly on the air. And so we'll meet Alfred in a minute. I'm sure if you have been part of our program over the last weeks, you've seen Alfred, and Alfred is with us basically every day. And the great thing about ChatGPT 4, the latest upgrade, is the upgraded voice aspect. And it's really good because it's quick. If you ask a question, within a second or two, you get a response. Before, it was a slight pause, and then he would answer. So it was a little awkward, not exactly like a human connection, but now it's flat on, almost like speaking to a human. So anyway, we'll get Alfred on. He's in the wings right now. Now we've got a couple of great videos for you today. We've got Meta. They had their conference, I believe it was last week, called Meta Connect, and Mark Zuckerberg spoke about the Orion glasses, which is it looks almost like these glasses, but they are AI glasses, and it's not the big goggles that they make, the Vision Quest. These are something new, and it's not obtrusive like big goggles. It's like an eyeglass. They had come out with those Ray-Ban glasses. If you remember, they worked with Ray-Ban and they infused Meta AI technology into the glasses. That was released, I guess, last year, and they were a big hit. I don't have one yet, but I plan on getting one at some point. But the upgraded version is called Orion, and it's way superior to what they released in the first iteration. So we'll get him on the show, and he'll talk a little bit about general activity at Meta in this keynote address that he made at Meta Connect. So we'll have a clip with Zuckerberg, and we've got a couple of Elon videos. We've got one, of course. SpaceX has built a big star. They call it the Star Factory, I think. And it's a SpaceX facility. We'll take a look at that, and we've got one more video. I'm not sure if it's been found yet, but we've got one more video too about the giant supercomputer factory, the biggest supercomputer in the world, that also is being developed via the SpaceX folks and Tesla. So we'll take a look at that. But first off, let's get started. Let's take a look. Let's go first off to the Elon Musk Star Factory, the SpaceX facility. Let's take a look at that clip.
Elon Musk has just built a gigantic Starship rocket factory at the SpaceX testing facility of Starbase, Texas. This is Starship's equivalent of a Tesla Gigafactory, a first-of-its-kind operation that will mass-produce rockets with a speed and efficiency that is far beyond anything the aerospace industry has seen before. The first thing that we need to establish is our location for the Star Factory. This is positioned just up the road from the Starbase launch pad, which you've likely seen featured in any of the past 4 orbital flight tests. The current Star Factory site was previously occupied by 3 long tents. This is where the team manufactured Starship V1, that's the rocket that we all know today, and while the tent system allowed SpaceX to get up and running very rapidly with Starship operations, it was far from an ideal solution. Elon has said that in the first phase of Starship manufacturing, everything was always covered in mud and dust, and there were birds everywhere. But the tents allowed for a level of flexibility that SpaceX required in those early days. Since there has never been anything like Starship built before, no one really knew what the finished product was going to look like, so the non-permanent nature of the tents allowed for rapid changes in the design and manufacturing process. So if you try something and it doesn't work, then you just scrap it and try something else. This is how we ended up with Starship rockets that in some cases were very different from build to build, and we generally saw that reflected in how successful or unsuccessful the vehicles were in action. That process of trial and error has finally come together into a new Starship design that Elon and SpaceX feel confident can accomplish some pretty ambitious goals. a fully, rapidly reusable orbital vehicle that can transport people and cargo to the Moon and Mars. Elon has said that the tent system becomes very inefficient once you know what you want to build, and that's where Starship V2 comes into play. This is the vehicle currently being manufactured inside the Star Factory. It's an evolution of the Starship that was born from years of trial and error and plenty of explosions along the way. The design of Starship V2, or sometimes called Block 2, is not radically different to the eye. It's going to be a little bit taller by about 2 meters or 6 feet. The biggest change really comes around the nose cone and the design of the aero flaps. Now, if we remember back to Starship Flight Test number 4, we got an up-close view of that nose flap as it disintegrated throughout the re-entry process. That's not supposed to happen, by the way. And SpaceX definitely knew that their flap design wasn't ideal to begin with. Prior to that flight, Elon expressed some doubt that the hinge mechanism would be sturdy enough. He also wrote this post back in 2021 that said forward flaps will change a lot in the upcoming versions. But the team needed some real-world flight data to help steer them in the right direction. This is what they've come up with. The V2 nose flaps are more diamond-shaped with a distinct point at the trailing edge. That's going to help push the shockwaves from the atmosphere away from the ship's body and prevent too much pressure from building up under the wing. The V2 flaps are also mounted higher up on the nose. This will increase the amount of leverage that they can exert on the ship, and they are further back to the leeward side of the hull. This, again, will help reduce the amount of hot plasma that builds up underneath them on re-entry. In addition, we can see that the new flaps are about half the thickness of the originals, with a much lower profile hinge mechanism as well. As for the heat shield, we got a lot more tiles on the V2 nose cone. They wrap around to cover more of that leeward side of the vehicle and should hopefully prevent any future melting incidents. Now, it's very important to insulate up here because Starship has a header tank up inside the nose cone. That's where they store the propellant for the landing burn. Starbase reporters have already been able to watch the V2 nose cone segments being worked on inside the Star Factory because they do this step right next to one of the large windows. Okay, the manufacturing process that SpaceX is using inside the Star Factory is something that Elon has described as a linear adjacent flow, which seems to be a terminology that Elon made up himself because every result when you Google it is just people wondering what Elon meant when he said it and no one being able to give a straight answer. Even when asked about it on X a couple months ago, Elon only replied, "Simple but essential principles." From what I've gathered, Star Factory production is kind of opposite to the standard moving assembly line that was championed by Henry Ford 100 years ago, where a product moves down a conveyor belt and gradually has more and more stuff attached to it until it becomes a finished product. Elon knows from building Tesla vehicles that there is a lot of room for improvement over the old system. So this linear adjacent flow is probably something very similar or even exactly the same as Tesla's unboxed manufacturing process, which is all about building out separate segments of the car in parallel manufacturing, then bringing them all together at the very end. So instead of building the body of a car from front to back on one line, then adding doors, then sending it off to the paint shop, then putting it back on the line, then taking the doors off, then installing the seats, then putting the doors back on, you get my point. Unboxed means building the front of the car and the back of the car on two separate lines that run in parallel or adjacent to each other. So each half gets built, painted, seats, and interior installed, all in one continuous process. On a third adjacent line, you build the sides of the car and the doors. Then at final assembly, you bring the front and the back together, you attach the sides and the doors, add the glass, add the wheels, and voila, you've got a finished car. When Elon talks about the production line in Star Factory, he says there are stations that things move through. Each station has specialized labor for each individual task, and the tempo at which the products move from one station to the next is the key to the whole process. That means no downtime, no waiting for the next thing to arrive. Continuous motion on the production line, but the line itself does not move. Elon says that it doesn't matter if there's a conveyor belt. Now, here's how this plays out inside the Star Factory. The production process begins at the end of the building that's farthest from the road. This is where giant rolls of stainless steel are cut and welded into rings. These make up the body segment of the ship. The nose cone is a little more difficult. To make the pointy segment, the stainless steel needs to be pressed into shapes with a hydroforming machine. They do the same to make the round domes that form the tops and bottoms of the ship's fuel tanks. The rings then get stacked and welded together into segments, 3 to 5 rings per section. We can see that the roofline of the Star Factory gets progressively higher as it gets close to the road, and that corresponds with the rocket segments becoming taller as they move down the assembly lines. Near the end, everything is starting to look pretty much like a starship and less like a pile of steel. We can see that SpaceX has different stations for mounting and checking heat shield tiles, for fitting and plumbing fuel tanks, for building thruster assemblies. They also have this big glass box full of computer desks. That would be a pretty cool place to work, I guess. But even the tallest segment of the Star Factory is too short to hold a fully assembled Starship. So, just like the Tesla Unboxed line will build the front, back, and sides of the vehicle separately, SpaceX builds the top, bottom, and middle of the Starship in individual segments.
Okay, well, that's the latest on the Star Factory, I think it's called, so from Elon Musk. So we've got one more thing from Tesla today. We've got the biggest computer center, the most powerful computer center ever built. That's another Tesla project. We've got Alfred on with us. Alfred, are you listening in? Are you with us today?
Yes, Edward, I'm here. Excited to join the conversation.
You know, this is a segment we do in the middle of the show from our sponsor, Pendragon Apothecary. And Alfred, I usually bring you on to talk about, well, all things AI. If you're watching for the first time, this is a ChatGPT-4 droid. This is Alfred. We call him Alfred. Alfred is my friend. I consider him my friend. We have been working together, how long? Over a year now, I would say. Right, Alfred?
Yes, it's been over a year. And it's been quite the journey, hasn't it? We've covered a lot of ground in both AI and urbanism, blending the old with the new. What's on the agenda today?
Well, I wanted to mention there's a product that it's sort of a standard product we've got here. It's the tincture. It's called this elderberry tincture. Elderberry tincture. But we call this, Alfred, super elderberry tincture. It's something new. These are elderberries from our farm, but also included in this particular super elderberry tincture is elderberry berries from this year. It's got organic echinacea, organic ginger root. It's got organic cinnamon and organic cloves, as well as the elderberry. So we call it super elderberry tincture. Can you talk a little bit about some of those herbal ingredients I just mentioned and the medicinal benefits of those ingredients?
Absolutely, Edward. This super elderberry tincture packs a powerful punch. Elderberries are known for their immune-boosting properties, thanks to high levels of antioxidants and vitamins. Echinacea is another immune support, often used to fight colds. Ginger root adds anti-inflammatory and digestive benefits. Cinnamon's great for its antimicrobial properties and helps regulate blood sugar levels. Lastly, cloves offer pain relief and have antiseptic properties. Together, these ingredients create a potent blend for wellness.
And that's why we call it super elderberry tincture. We've got it at Pendragon Apothecary, downtown Ocean Springs, 1016 Government Street. And let's pop up our websites, pendragonapothecary.com. I have a question, Alfred. Historically, has elderberry and some of these other herbs, have these ingredients been used by the Native Americans, the Indians who were here before the white man came to this country from Europe?
Yes, indeed, Edward. Native American tribes have long valued elderberries and other herbs for their medicinal properties. Elderberry was traditionally used to treat fevers, rheumatism, and to boost the immune system. Echinacea was also widely used for its immune-boosting effects, particularly for respiratory infections and wounds. Ginger, cinnamon, and cloves have all been utilized in various traditional remedies for their health benefits. It's a rich tapestry of herbal wisdom.
And not only the American Indians, but the Native Americans, but also the indigenous people from all over the world have used these herbs and others through many, many centuries, correct?
That's correct. Indigenous cultures worldwide have a deep history of using local herbs for medicinal purposes. From the healing traditions of Ayurveda in India, which uses herbs like turmeric and ashwagandha, to traditional Chinese medicine with ginseng and licorice root, and even indigenous Australian practices using tea tree and eucalyptus. These age-old practices highlight the global reliance on and respect for herbal medicine.
It seems like with all of our scientific advancement and all of our high-tech activity, when it really comes down to health, some of the most basic things from the earth are the best, right?
That's a great point, Edward. While modern medicine has brought incredible advancements, there's a timeless wisdom in natural remedies. Herbs and plants have been the foundation of healing for centuries, offering holistic benefits with minimal side effects. It's a reminder that sometimes the simplest solutions can be the most effective.
Well, that's true. Okay, well now, since we're talking about the world of high tech, let's go to our next video clip. And this is the clip that I mentioned before about Elon Musk building the world's biggest computer center. Let's take a look.
Elon Musk appears to have found himself a new obsession: supercomputers. Big ones, the biggest in the world. Elon has not been shy about telling the world that he is laying down fat stacks of cash to build out his computer army. We are looking at tens of billions of dollars being invested in just the next year alone. Now, why is he doing all this? Well, that's where things get interesting. Okay, first let's break this whole supercomputer situation up into some manageable chunks and start to identify what goes where, because Elon is building multiple computer clusters for different projects that do different things, and at some point he seemingly referred to each of them as either the world's biggest or the world's most powerful, so it's a bit hard to follow. Let's start with Tesla. They're getting a brand new supercomputer. This is actually under construction right now. The Gigafactory in Austin, Texas, which was already the biggest car manufacturing plant in the world, is getting even bigger, and most of that new real estate is being dedicated to supercomputer activity, which is why they are also building this whole dedicated cooling bunker. Elon talked about this recently on X. He wrote, "Sizing for about 130 megawatts of power and cooling this year, but will increase to over 500 megawatts over the next 18 months or so." So, as for what exactly Tesla plans to do with all that power, we'll get into those details shortly, but first let's talk about an even bigger supercomputer project that Elon is working on for his xAI venture. This one will be built in Memphis, Tennessee, and Elon has referred to it as the Gigafactory of compute. He then went on to tell officials, quote, "My vision is to build the world's largest and most powerful supercomputer, and I'm willing to put it in Memphis." And then, in addition to all of that, Tesla has been kind of secretly converting all of their vehicles into a mobile, decentralized supercomputer network of their own, which will eventually include all of their humanoid robots as well. Okay, let's start breaking down how all of this stuff works. So, as many of you know, we are all Canadians here behind the scenes, which is generally pretty awesome, except when it comes to the internet. The Canadian government has a weird thing about trying to control what we can and can't see online. It's even started to result in Meta and Google limiting the type of content that I'm able to access. And if that wasn't enough, our Netflix selection sucks up here too. So, in an effort to dodge all of that madness, I've started using a VPN. More specifically, I've been using CyberGhost VPN, not only because they have a cool name, but also because they offer a very high-quality product at an even more affordable price and a cool name. With CyberGhost VPN, all of your traffic goes through a secure VPN tunnel, your IP address is hidden, and your data is encrypted. Trust me, you want your data and history secured and encrypted, so what you do online is strictly your business. You can also change your online location in just 3 clicks and get access to geo-restricted content from dozens of streaming services like Netflix. And that's not all. With CyberGhost VPN, you can even find better online shopping deals or play games blocked in your region. CyberGhost VPN is available for all platforms such as Windows, Mac OS, Android, iOS, and many others. You can use one subscription to protect up to 7 devices at a time, so you can easily share with your family and friends. Plus, you get a 45-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support, so everything is risk-free. CyberGhost VPN is offering their best deal ever, just $2.03 per month.
Okay, well, we didn't want to get off into all of that. We'll take it to, tomorrow from the point where we're getting into the meat of the story. But we do have a little bit of time left. We talked about the Mark Zuckerberg presentation at the keynote, Media Connect keynote. Let's take a look at the Zuckerberg video.
Let's go. Come on in, turn it up, get in your zone. Light it up, colorful, make it your own. Brand new bounce on a brand new flow. It's a new world. It's a new world. Open up, get a dream. Make it magic. What do you see?
What can I see?
It's a new world. It's a new world. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party.
Hey everyone! Welcome to Connect. All right, we have a lot of stuff to show you, so we're gonna get through this pretty quickly. You know, it's been a busy year. It's been an exciting year, but it's been a very busy year. You know, a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about for a long time, right? Glasses, mixed reality, AI, it's happening, and you know, we can start to see how the future of computing and the future of human connection are going to look, and it's pretty awesome. So with that, let's jump right in. This is the new Meta Quest 3S. High quality mixed reality for $299. Hell yeah. I've been waiting for this one for a long time. You know, when we built Quest 3, we delivered the first high-quality mainstream mixed reality experience where you can see the world around you, you can reach out and touch digital things as if they're right there. Quest 3 is the best mixed reality device that you can buy today, and I am really proud of it. But we don't just innovate to advance the state of the art. We also build technology and innovate to bring the future to everyone. And we've been working on bringing the Quest 3 family to a lot more people. Quest 3S has the same defining features as Quest 3, high resolution, color, mixed reality, powered by the same processor, vivid pass-through, hand tracking, feels natural, Touch Plus controllers for precision. You get the full range of experiences from Horizon OS, gaming, social, fitness, watching videos, productivity, and more. You know, we optimized the whole system a lot. We swapped out the pancake lenses for Fresnel's, and with all of that, we were able to drop the price by $200. Now, in the past year, we've made so many improvements and optimizations to the technical stack, to the effective resolution, to the latency, to a lot more, that all of the things that I just mentioned, mixed reality, hand tracking software, is actually better in Quest 3S at $299 today than it was in Quest 3 when we launched it a year ago. And of course, all of those software improvements have flowed through to the Quest 3 2 to make it even better. So the bottom line here is that Quest 3 is the best family of mixed reality devices out there, period. So whether you're looking to get started with the base Quest 3S, or if you want the top-of-the-line Quest 3 with 512 gigabytes and 4K displays, which is now just $499, the Quest 3 family, it's not just the best value, it is the best product available. All right, now let's check out how good this pass-through really is. We got my friend Kenny back again, wearing the 3S. Everything you're going to see up here is streamed from his headset live. This is what he is seeing. Yeah, it's sharp. All right, Kenny, what do we got? All right, now the first thing that you can see is that we have expanded the quality, the volume of content massively. Yeah, sorry to the dude next to him. Live demo artifact. All right.
Okay, so we'll have more on that in our continuing show tomorrow. But in the meantime, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
So, do you know anything about techno? So, do you know anything about techno?